The massive crystal chamber floated in space around a dead star that burned with cold light. Inside the chamber, 47 different alien races sat in a great circle. Their bodies were strange and wonderful. Some had 4 arms, others had tentacles, and a few looked like living energy wrapped in metal suits. They all stared at the small section where 3 humans sat quietly. Captain Jake Morrison wore his best military uniform but felt very small in this place. The aliens around him were older than human civilization. Some of their races had traveled between stars when humans still lived in caves. Now these ancient beings were deciding the fate of humanity, and Jake could only watch. Ambassador Kethvil stood in the center of the circle. He was a Zephyrian with blue skin and 4 arms that moved like water when he talked. His voice filled the chamber as he spoke about the human problem that threatened the peace of the galaxy. 50 years ago, we discovered Earth by accident, Kethvil said. The humans were trying to break the speed of light, and their experiments made waves in space that our sensors detected. We thought they might be interesting. We were wrong. They are dangerous. Jake wanted to stand up and argue, but Ambassador Lisa Park touched his arm gently. She was Earth's best diplomat and had been trying to keep peace between humans and aliens for 20 years. Her face showed no emotion, but Jake could see the worry in her eyes. In 20 years, humans have spread to 12 worlds, continued the alien ambassador. They build machines that think like living beings. They copy our technology and make it better in ways we never imagined. They grow too fast. They learn too much. They must be stopped before they threaten us all. One by one, other alien representatives stood to speak against humanity. The Hydrotians looked like giant fish and complained that human mining hurt their meditation pools. The Chitauri were insect-like creatures who said human farming methods broke the natural order. The Luminals were beings made of pure energy who accused humans of stealing their computer designs. Each complaint made Jake angrier. Humans had never attacked anyone. They had shared their discoveries freely. They had tried to be good neighbors to these alien races. But the aliens saw human progress as a threat instead of a gift. Ambassador Park finally stood to speak. Her voice was calm and strong as she answered each complaint. She explained how human mining actually helped create new habitats for other races. She showed how human farming produced more food for everyone. She proved that humans had invented their computers independently and had not stolen anything, but Jake could see that the aliens had already made their decision. They were not listening to facts. They were afraid of what humans might become if they continued to grow and learn. The vote came quickly. 44 races voted to punish humanity. Only 3 abstained because they made money trading with humans. No one voted to support Earth. The punishment was harsh and immediate. All human ships were banned from 94% of the galaxy. The 12 human colonies had to be abandoned within 1 year. All technology sharing would stop. Any alien race caught trading with humans would be thrown out of the council. Jake felt his heart sink as he heard the terms. This was not just punishment. This was an attempt to destroy human civilization before it could grow any stronger. The aliens wanted to trap humanity on Earth and watch them slowly fall behind the rest of the galaxy, but Jake was a military man. And while the diplomats talked, he had been watching and learning. He studied the alien ships in the docking bays. He memorized the layout of the station. He recorded conversations about alien military strength and political divisions. If humanity was going to be treated as an enemy, they would need to know their opponents. The journey back to Earth took 3 weeks aboard the diplomatic ship UES Defiance. Ambassador Park spent most of the trip writing reports and sending messages to Earth. Jake spent his time analyzing everything he had learned about alien technology and military capabilities. When they finally saw Earth's blue oceans and white clouds, Jake felt a mixture of relief and determination. This was humanity's home, and no alien council had the right to tell them where they could or could not live. The colonies were full of human families who had built new lives among the stars. They deserved protection. President Helen Burke met them at the space station above Earth. She was a tough woman who had led humanity through economic collapse and climate change. Now she faced the greatest challenge in human history. After hearing their report, she made a decision that would change everything. "We will not abandon our colonies," she announced to the world. "We will not accept limits on human growth and exploration. If the Galactic Council wants to treat us as enemies, then we will show them what human enemies can do." Within hours of her announcement, construction began on massive shipyards above the moon. The designs were based on alien technology that Jake had secretly studied during his time at the Council Station. But these new ships would be built with human engineering and human determination. The aliens thought they could contain humanity by cutting them off from the galaxy. They would soon learn that they had made a terrible mistake. Humans did not surrender when faced with impossible odds. They got angry, they got creative, and they fought back with everything they had. As Jake watched the first pieces of the new warships taking shape in the lunar shipyards, he smiled grimly. The Galactic Council had just created their worst nightmare. They had united humanity against a common enemy and given them a reason to build the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. 6 months had passed since the Alien Council banned humanity from the stars, and Earth had become a different world. General Ryan Collins stood in his command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching screens that showed the largest military buildup in human history. The underground base stretched for miles in every direction, filled with factories, laboratories, and training centers that worked day and night. Above ground, the world had changed just as dramatically. Cities that once focused on business and entertainment now built weapons and spacecraft. Farmers grew food in vertical towers so their fields could be turned into manufacturing plants. Students learned engineering and military tactics instead of art and literature. Everyone understood that humanity's survival depended on becoming stronger than their alien enemies. Dr. Amanda Foster led the most secret project of all. Hidden inside a converted asteroid mining station between Mars and Jupiter, she worked with the smartest humans alive to turn alien technology into weapons. They called it Project Prometheus, after the ancient Greek hero who stole fire from the gods. Like that hero, they planned to steal the aliens' greatest secrets and use them against their creators. The asteroid facility looked empty from the outside, but inside it buzzed with activity. Thousands of scientists and engineers worked in laboratories, carved from solid rock. They studied alien computers, analyzed alien metals, and tested alien energy sources. Every day brought new discoveries that made human technology more powerful. Meanwhile, the human colonies refused to give up their homes. Ben Parker ran the colony on New Geneva, a world with purple skies and 2 suns. Instead of packing to leave, his people built orbital defense platforms and underground bunkers. They used local materials and human creativity to turn their peaceful, farming world into a fortress that could resist alien attack. Each colony developed its own defenses based on what they had available. The mining colony on Kepler 442c built weapons from the rare metals they dug from the planet's core. The research station orbiting Vol 359 created new types of shields using the star's unusual radiation. The farming world of New Dallas grew, specially modified plants that could produce explosive chemicals. Captain Emma Rodriguez commanded a ship called UES Shadow Walker that could hide from alien sensors. Her mission was to sneak deep into alien territory and gather intelligence about their enemies. What she found surprised everyone back on Earth. The alien alliance was not as strong as it appeared. Many younger alien races privately admired human innovation and creativity. They were tired of being controlled by the older, more powerful species who had dominated the galaxy for millions of years. Some aliens even secretly provided information about their military plans and defensive positions. The Quran were a warrior race that had been defeated by the Alien Council centuries ago. They still resented their loss and were eager to help humanity fight their former conquerors. Through secret meetings and abandoned space stations, they shared advanced weapons technology and detailed maps of alien military bases, but humanity faced enormous challenges. Earth's 8 billion people seemed tiny compared to the Alien Alliance's 2 trillion citizens. Human technology was still centuries behind the most advanced alien races in many areas. Most importantly, Earth did not have enough factories and resources to fight a war across the entire galaxy. These problems forced humans to think in new ways. Dr. Kevin Walsh invented tiny robots called nanobots that could build structures in space using nothing but asteroids and starlight. Within months, the asteroid belt became a vast industrial complex producing thousands of new ships every week. Dr. Rachel Green and her team solved another crucial problem by learning how the aliens sent messages instantly across the galaxy. Human scientists had always thought this was impossible, but the aliens used quantum physics in ways humans had never imagined. Once they understood the secret, humanity could intercept alien communications and coordinate their own forces across vast distances. The internet evolved into something much more powerful. Instead of just sharing information, it allowed millions of human minds to work together as one giant brain. Engineers in Tokyo could instantly share ideas with scientists in New York and manufacturers in London. This mental network made human innovation faster and more effective than anything the aliens had ever seen. Cities reorganized themselves for war. Skyscrapers that once held offices became vertical farms to feed the population. Shopping malls became training centers for soldiers. Schools taught children how to build weapons and pilot spacecraft. Every human became part of the war effort in some way. The first real test came when an alien enforcement fleet arrived at New Dallas, expecting to find defenseless colonists ready to evacuate. Instead, they found orbital weapons platforms, planetary shields, and thousands of human fighters ready to defend their home. Captain Morrison, now a senior intelligence officer, had helped design the colony's defenses using everything he had learned during his time at the Alien Council Station. The battle was brief but decisive. Human weapons tore through alien shields that had protected them for thousands of years. Human tactics confused alien commanders who had never faced an opponent willing to sacrifice everything for victory. When the alien ships retreated, Captain Morrison sent a message that was broadcast across the galaxy's communication networks. His words were simple but clear. "You wanted to contain humanity. You should have tried to understand us instead." The message reached every alien world simultaneously, thanks to the communication technology Dr. Green's team had mastered. For the first time, the galaxy understood that humanity would not quietly accept defeat. They would fight for their right to exist and grow among the stars. General Collins watched the reports from New Dallas with satisfaction. The aliens had expected humans to behave like other species, following rules and accepting limitations. Instead, they found an opponent who would break every rule and ignore every limitation to protect their people and their future. War was coming, and humanity was ready. In shipyards around Earth and throughout the solar system, new warships took shape. These vessels combined alien technology with human engineering, creating weapons the galaxy had never seen before. Most importantly, they would be crewed by humans who understood that sometimes survival required being more dangerous than your enemies. The Alien Council had made their choice 6 months ago when they decided to destroy human civilization. Now, they would learn what happened when you threatened a species that had climbed to the top of the food chain on one of the galaxy's most dangerous worlds. Admiral Chris Thompson stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, watching 3 different star systems on his tactical display. Today, humanity would announce to the galaxy that they were no longer victims waiting for mercy. Today, they would strike back with a force that would shake the foundations of alien civilization. Operation Shockwave was the largest military action in human history. 3 fleets would attack 3 different targets at exactly the same moment, stretching alien defenses beyond their breaking point. The aliens had spent thousands of years believing they were safe in their advanced technology and superior numbers. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The first target was the Rigel Research Complex, where the aliens developed new technologies and stored the accumulated knowledge of dozens of civilizations. The massive station orbited a blue giant star, protected by energy shields and automated defense systems that had never been challenged in their thousand-year history. Lieutenant Colonel Maria Santos led the assault team that would capture the research station. Her Marines wore powered armor designed specifically for zero-gravity combat, something the aliens had never needed to master. As their transport ships approached the station, Santos could see alien security forces scrambling to respond to an attack they had never imagined possible. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. Human Marines moved through the station's corridors like deadly ghosts, using three-dimensional tactics that confused defenders accustomed to fighting on flat surfaces. Their weapons cut through alien armor that had been considered impenetrable. Their training allowed them to function in environments that would disable most alien soldiers. Within 6 hours, the humans controlled the entire research complex. Dr. Foster's team, monitoring from Earth, guided the Marines as they downloaded thousands of years of alien scientific knowledge, weapons technology, faster-than-light engines, and detailed information about alien military capabilities flowed into human databases. The second attack targeted the Vega Supply Depot, a massive space station that stored military equipment for half the galaxy. Captain Rodriguez commanded this mission using the stealth technology her team had perfected during months of spying in alien territory. Human ships appeared inside, the depot's defenses like ghosts materializing from empty space. The aliens never saw them coming. By the time their sensors detected the intruders, it was already too late. Explosives planted throughout the station's storage areas detonated simultaneously, destroying enough military supplies to cripple alien operations for months. The third target was the diplomatic hub at Proxima Centauri, where alien ambassadors met to coordinate their response to human expansion. Colonel Danny Wright's Special Forces did not try to destroy this facility. Instead, they infiltrated it like invisible spiders, planting listening devices and copying intelligence files that revealed the political divisions among alien species. The aliens' response was swift but poorly organized. Admiral Vextari of the Zephyrian Navy gathered a massive fleet to strike back at the human colony of New Plymouth. His ships were larger and more advanced than anything humanity possessed, but he was about to learn that size and technology meant nothing without proper tactics. Captain Lisa Morgan commanded New Plymouth's defense fleet from her flagship, a converted cargo hauler equipped with weapons designed by human engineers. She watched the alien armada approach and smiled coldly. The aliens flew in perfect formation, following attack patterns that had not changed in 1,000 years. They were predictable, and predictable enemies could be defeated. The battle began when the alien fleet opened fire from long range, expecting their superior weapons to overwhelm human defenses. Instead, they found their energy beams absorbed by planetary shields that used their own power against them. Automated defense drones swarmed around the alien ships like angry insects, too small and fast for the large weapons to target effectively. Captain Morgan's ships did not try to match the aliens in direct combat. Instead, they used guerrilla tactics, striking fast and disappearing before the enemy could respond. They attacked weak points in the alien formation, isolated individual ships, and used the planet's gravity well to accelerate debris into devastating kinetic weapons. The aliens had never faced an opponent who refused to fight by their rules. When Admiral Vextari tried to land ground forces on New Plymouth's surface, he found the colonists had prepared a surprise for him. Instead of surrendering as expected, the humans implemented a scorched earth strategy, destroying their own infrastructure rather than letting it fall into alien hands. This willingness to accept massive losses in pursuit of victory shocked the alien military commanders. They had spent millennia fighting limited wars with specific objectives and acceptable casualty rates. The idea of a species that would sacrifice everything rather than accept defeat was completely foreign to their experience. News of Operation Shockwave spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. The three simultaneous victories demonstrated that humanity was not just defending itself, but actively waging war against the entire alien alliance. More importantly, they showed that human tactics and determination could overcome superior alien technology and numbers, several alien species that had supported the original sanctions began privately questioning their decision. The peaceful nature of galactic civilization had left them unprepared for total war, and many were beginning to understand that they had awakened something dangerous when they threatened humanity's survival. The Quran openly declared their support for the human cause, providing advanced weapons technology in exchange for human industrial techniques. Other younger species began secret negotiations with human diplomats, seeking ways to avoid becoming targets of human expansion. An emergency session of the Galactic Council convened on the Crystal Station where they had originally voted to punish humanity. The same alien ambassadors who had confidently dismissed human civilization now faced reports of military defeats and political instability throughout their territory. Ambassador Kethvil stood in the center of the circle once again, but his arms trembled as he spoke. The human problem had become something far worse than they had imagined. Instead of containing a dangerous species, they had created an enemy that threatened the very foundations of galactic civilization. Admiral Thompson received reports of the Council's emergency session while his fleet prepared for the next phase of human expansion. The aliens were finally beginning to understand what they faced, but their realization had come too late. Humanity had tasted victory and would not stop until they controlled their own destiny among the stars. The war that the aliens had tried to prevent by sanctioning Earth had begun in earnest. But instead of the quick defeat they had expected, they found themselves facing an opponent that grew stronger with each battle. Humanity had learned the galaxy's greatest lesson. In a universe full of predators, only the most dangerous species survived to claim the stars as their own. 1 year into the war, humanity had changed from desperate defenders into the most feared military force in the galaxy. Commander Alex Turner worked from his command center on New Geneva, coordinating fleets that now operated in dozens of star systems. The small species that had once begged for acceptance among the stars now dictated terms to civilizations millions of years older than Earth. The war had revealed something fundamental about human nature that the aliens had failed to understand. Where other species fought limited conflicts with specific goals, humans embraced total war as a matter of survival. This difference became brutally clear during the Battle of Volf 359, where Admiral Kate Sullivan commanded a human fleet against overwhelming odds. Sullivan's force consisted of 200 ships, a mixture of converted civilian vessels and purpose-built warships constructed in the asteroid belt factories. Facing them was a Galactic Council armada of 800 vessels led by Supreme Admiral Kethvor of the Luminal Empire. The alien commander expected an easy victory against the smaller human force. Instead, Sullivan employed tactics that horrified observers throughout the galaxy. She used civilian freighters as mobile shields, protecting her warships while sacrificing the lives of volunteers who knew they would not survive. She ordered entire squadrons to ram enemy vessels, trading dozens of human lives for single alien ships. Most shocking of all, she deliberately targeted alien medical and supply vessels, attacking non-combatants in direct violation of galactic warfare conventions. The battle lasted 14 hours and ended with the complete destruction of the Council fleet. Human casualties were enormous, but the strategic victory opened 3 star systems to human expansion and demonstrated that no alien force was safe from human determination. Supreme Admiral Kethver died when his flagship exploded, but his final transmission was recorded and broadcast throughout alien space. His words would haunt the galaxy for years to come. They do not fight like civilized beings. They fight like the universe itself is trying to kill them. Dr. Foster's research teams made breakthrough discoveries using technology captured during Operation Shockwave. The development of quantum tunneling weapons allowed human ships to bypass enemy shields entirely, striking directly at the hull and crew compartments. New propulsion systems gave human fleets mobility advantages that made them nearly impossible to corner in traditional fleet engagements. The war transformed human society in ways that would have been unimaginable during peacetime. Traditional national boundaries disappeared as the species united against external threats. Dr. Nancy Williams led development of neural interface, technology that allowed human commanders to control entire fleets through direct mental connection. The enhancement process was dangerous and often fatal, but volunteers lined up for the chance to become more effective warriors. Those who survived the procedure could process information faster than any alien brain and coordinate military actions across multiple star systems simultaneously. They became humanity's new elite enhanced humans whose mental capabilities matched the scale of galactic warfare. Captain Morrison, now a senior intelligence officer, discovered that Council unity was fracturing under the pressure of human expansion. Economic systems that had remained stable for thousands of years collapsed as trade routes became battlefields. Younger alien species began questioning the authority of elder races who had led them into this disastrous conflict. Human intelligence operations, led by Colonel Sandra Bell, exploited these divisions through sophisticated propaganda campaigns and diplomatic outreach. They convinced 12 minor species to withdraw from the Council, creating safe havens for human operations deep in former enemy territory. The propaganda was simple but effective. Humans offered technological advancement, economic opportunity, and protection from Council retaliation. They showed alien worlds what human innovation could accomplish and promised to share these benefits with anyone willing to abandon the failing alliance, but success came at a terrible price. Earth's population had dropped to 6 billion as military casualties mounted and industrial demands consumed entire generations. Children grew up in underground shelters, learning to build weapons before they learned to read. The blue-green world that had once been known for its beauty now resembled a military installation surrounded by orbital weapons platforms. General Collins coordinated the most ambitious operation in human military history from his expanded command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Operation Thunderbolt would strike 17 Council strongholds simultaneously, stretching enemy forces beyond their ability to respond effectively. The operation required precision timing and flawless coordination across hundreds of light years. Enhanced human commanders used their neural interfaces to control the complex dance of fleets, supply convoys, and support operations. Every aspect of the assault was calculated to achieve maximum impact with minimum human losses. The results exceeded all expectations. 17 alien fortress systems fell within 72 hours, their defenses overwhelmed by human tactics and technology. Strategic resources worth more than entire planetary economies fell into human hands. Most importantly, the victories established permanent human presence in the galactic core regions, areas that had been controlled by elder races since before. Earth's sun was born, however. The cost of victory was becoming apparent to those who remembered what humanity had been before the war. Captain Lisa Morgan, now commanding an entire battle group, sometimes looked at her crews and wondered what they had become. These were no longer the curious, creative humans who had reached for the stars with wonder and hope. They were efficient killing machines, shaped by years of constant warfare into something harder and colder than their ancestors. The transformation was most visible in the enhanced commanders who controlled the largest human fleets. Dr. Williams. Neural interface technology had created beings who were still technically human but thought and acted on scales beyond normal comprehension. They spoke in tactical assessments and strategic projections, viewing entire alien civilizations as variables in complex military equations, yet this evolution had been necessary for survival. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, filled with species that possessed technologies and resources far beyond anything Earth had originally imagined. Only by becoming more ruthless than their enemies could humanity claim a place among the stars. Commander Turner watched his tactical displays showing human fleets advancing deeper into Council territory and felt a mixture of pride and sadness. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history, rising from unknown newcomers to dominant power in just 4 years. But the species that would inherit the galaxy bore little resemblance to the one that had first dreamed of exploring it. The war was approaching its final phase. with Council forces retreating toward their last strongholds in the galactic core. Victory was within reach, but Turner wondered if they would recognize themselves when the fighting finally ended. The humans who had once built art and music and literature now built only weapons and warships. The species that had valued diversity and creativity now prized only efficiency and lethality, but there was no turning back. The galaxy had forced this transformation upon humanity when it chose to treat them as enemies rather than neighbors. Now, the aliens would learn what they had created through their fear and hatred. They would live in a universe ruled by a species that had learned to be more dangerous than any other predator among the stars. 3 years after the war began, the Galactic Council faced complete defeat by the species they had once dismissed as primitive newcomers. Fleet Admiral Tony Martinez commanded the largest human armada ever assembled as it approached Arcturus Prime, the final stronghold where the surviving elder races had concentrated their remaining forces. His flagship, the UES Retribution, was a massive vessel the size of a small city. Its weapons could crack planetary surfaces and its shields could withstand the direct radiation of a star. Around it flew 3,000 other ships representing the full industrial might of human civilization, each one built with technologies stolen from alien enemies and improved by human engineering. The fortress system of Arcturus Prime had been designed over millions of years to be absolutely impregnable. Artificial planets covered in weapon systems orbited the central star, while massive space stations formed defensive rings that could destroy entire fleets. Energy barriers surrounded the system, making faster-than-light travel impossible for attacking forces. The siege lasted 6 months and became the most destructive military engagement in galactic history. Human forces employed tactics that would have been considered impossible just years earlier. They weaponized asteroids as kinetic bombardment platforms, accelerating mountain-sized rocks to near light speed before sending them crashing into alien defenses. Artificial intelligence systems, developed from captured alien computers but enhanced with human creativity, coordinated attacks across multiple star systems simultaneously. These AI generals could process thousands of variables in microseconds, optimizing human advantages while exploiting alien weaknesses. Dr. Foster's teams had spent 3 years developing increasingly terrible weapons from captured alien technology. Biological agents designed to target specific alien physiologies turned entire space stations into floating morgues. Nanobotic swarms ate through alien hull materials like microscopic termites. Gravity manipulation devices created artificial black holes that swallowed enemy fleets whole. The final weapon was Dr. Foster's masterpiece, the quantum cascade bomb. The device tore apart space-time itself, creating a localized region where the fundamental laws of physics operated differently. Within the cascade field, faster-than-light travel became impossible, trapping the Council's fleet like insects in amber. Supreme Admiral Kethvil, the same alien who had pronounced humanity's sentence years earlier, found his forces cut off from retreat or reinforcement. His forearms trembled as he realized that the species he had tried to contain now held the power to rewrite reality itself. Faced with complete annihilation, the Council sent a surrender message. The war that had begun with alien arrogance ended with alien capitulation. Humanity had achieved the impossible, conquering civilizations that had ruled the galaxy since before. Earth's continents had taken their current shape. The peace negotiations took place on Luna in chambers that had been built specifically for this moment. Ambassador Park, now bearing scars from 3 years of constant warfare, presented humanity's terms to the defeated alien representatives. The conditions were harsh and comprehensive. Former council space was divided into human protectorates, with alien species allowed limited self-governance under human oversight. Species that had supported the original sanctions faced severe restrictions on their military capabilities and trade relationships. Many found themselves subject to human governors and required to provide tribute in the form of technology and resources. Not all aliens accepted the new order peacefully. The Zephyrian rebellion lasted 18 months before being crushed by a human expeditionary force led by General Patricia. Lewis, the suppression was so brutal that it served as a permanent warning to other potential rebels about the consequences of defying human authority. However, species that had supported humanity or remained neutral during the war found themselves elevated to privileged positions within the new galactic order. The Koran became humanity's closest allies, their warrior culture proving compatible with human military traditions. Trade agreements and technology sharing programs benefited both civilizations enormously. Commander Turner established the Galactic Patrol, a human-dominated peacekeeping force that maintained order throughout the former Council territories. The organization became a model for interspecies cooperation, but always under clear human leadership and according to human values and priorities. Yet, victory revealed the true cost of humanity's transformation. The species that had once been known for art, music, and literature now produced mainly weapons and military technology. Cities that had celebrated diversity and creativity now resembled military installations focused entirely on efficiency and CONTRO. Dr. Williams' neural enhancement technology had created a new class of human whose mental capabilities were designed for managing galactic-scale operations. These enhanced individuals began forming a separate caste within human society, raising questions about whether they were still the same species as their unmodified cousins. Earth itself bore the physical scars of total war. The planet's surface hosted millions of alien refugees, prisoners of war, and voluntary immigrants who had chosen to live under human protection rather than face uncertain futures in their devastated homelands. Massive orbital installations surrounded the world, serving as both industrial centers and military bases. President Burke, now elderly and bearing the weight of leading humanity through its greatest transformation, addressed the United Nations 5 years after the war's end. Her speech was broadcast to every human world and alien protectorate, marking the official beginning of what historians would later call the human era. "We did not choose this war," she said, her voice carrying the weariness of someone who had made impossible decisions for the survival of her species. "We did not want to become conquerors. But when the galaxy forced us to choose between extinction and dominance, we chose to survive. We chose to ensure that no alien council would ever again threaten human existence. The transformation was complete and irreversible. Humanity had evolved from curious explorers into the galaxy's apex predators. The species that had once dreamed of peaceful contact with alien civilizations now ruled them through superior technology and ruthless determination. But expansion continued. Human exploration vessels pushed into previously uncharted regions of the galaxy, seeking new worlds and potentially new civilizations. Captain Steve Rogers, commanding one such expedition, carried with him both the hopes for peaceful contact and the weapons necessary to enforce human interests. If diplomacy failed, his ship represented the new reality of human space exploration, where the first human starships had carried scientists and diplomats. These vessels transported soldiers and administrators prepared to claim any habitable worlds they discovered. The galaxy had taught humanity that strength was the only currency that mattered among the stars. The final irony was that the Galactic Council's attempt to contain human expansion had achieved the exact opposite of their intentions. By forcing humanity to choose between submission and war, they had created the very threat they had tried to prevent. The species they had feared might someday challenge their authority had instead destroyed it completely. In the end, the galaxy learned that the greatest mistake was underestimating the determination of those with nothing left to lose. Humanity had proven that survival instincts, combined with intelligence and technology, could overcome any advantage of age or numbers. The war's legacy would echo through the galaxy for millennia, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous predator was the one that had been backed into a corner and forced to fight for its existence.